I watched a little video that Klopp did after he signed a new contract. It was just like a to-camera piece like this kind of thing, and talking to the fans, and just the love for that club that he's got and his staff, and just, as I say, the stability, the connection, everything. And it's kind of like, I think that was what Spurs were getting somewhere with Poch and getting there. And obviously they kind of messed it up. Obviously he had some moments where he wasn't quite hitting the heights he was. And I think rather than stick with him, obviously, well, let's put it this way, since that point, Spurs, let's say if Conte were to go this summer, which I'm hoping isn't the case, and I don't think Spurs think it's going to be the case. If they did, then Spurs would have had 5 managers in 5 managers in 3.5 years, almost 4 years. That's ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. 5? It's 5 or 6. It might be 5. Might have over-egged that slightly. But still, in that time, Liverpool have just had Klopp, and they've built. And obviously they've made key big signings, Van Dijk and Alisson for big money. They were big money, but they were absolutely the thing that squad needed in that moment. And now you've seen they've won the Premier League under him, they've won the Champions League under him. And even Guardiola looks like he's going to sign a new deal as well. It's like the two clubs that are bossing it are going to be the ones with the best stability. Whereas maybe in the past it was more about the rich boys were constantly changing their manager. Whereas now the best clubs are the ones with the stability. And that's what Tottenham need to refine. They do. It is. Yeah, it's 5th manager in 3.5 years. I'd written it down here. I knew I had. Look, Tottenham want Conte to do that. They want, because Conte's CV, we've said it before, it doesn't speak of a man who stays and creates a dynasty at a club. He doesn't stay there for ever more than, 3 years at the most, 2 on the whole, 2.5. Sometimes not through his own kind of choice, but often it is. But Tottenham really want him to make Tottenham his club where he does that. They want him to see the challenge there and also believe that he can, to get there, believe that he can take them to the level that he wants to be, because the infrastructure is all there. It's just about giving him what he needs, and him, as we've already said earlier in this, he's improved the team so much from what it was when he took over. Yes, he's had 2 quite key additions, but he's done all of that without a pre-season. He's done that with, on the whole, the same players that were struggling early in the season. So as a coach, he is one of the best in the world. And I think, the thing that makes me... Look, first off, let's talk about the contingency plans. Contingency plans, from what I understand, is they will try to look to Graham Potter, and they will have obviously sound out what's happening with Pochettino. Potter definitely is a guy, for the long term. He is that kind of guy, the ones that you would look to. Brighton certainly giving stability. Whether he wants to come to Tottenham, I don't know. I think maybe this summer would be a bit different in terms of perhaps he would feel he's taken Brighton as high as he can. They've got record points total. Maybe from now on, perhaps he can only sully his reputation slightly. I don't know. I'm just kind of putting thoughts into his mind, or thoughts that I think might be in his mind. They may not be. And with Poch, obviously, he's going to be bruised and battered after that PSG experience, but he will have, the experience of winning the league, albeit, yes, I know he's meant to, but also a couple of cups under his belt as well. But what I would say, because this is what slightly can be frustrating, is that I did a 3,500 word article the other day, and the whole end piece was about how Spurs want Conte to be the man. They want him to be the man for the future. And then I mentioned in about 2 bars within 3,500 words on these contingency plans are Potter and Pochettino, the main ones that are looking at. And obviously on Twitter, some people only took those 2 lines and stuck them out and said, Alistair Gold has said this. And it was like, and then I obviously, and understandably, get people replying to that going, oh, he's trying to unsettle. Why did you stabilise the team with 4 games to go? It's like, no, I wrote a 3,500 word article on how Conte is the future and how brilliant he's done and how that's it. But obviously, just in case he decides, because he is repeatedly, we had a press conference on Thursday. Was it Thursday last week ahead of the game? No, it might have been Friday because it was a Sunday match. On Friday ahead of the game, where Conte essentially spent almost half an hour refusing to give any assurances about what would happen in the future, and constantly saying, we'll see what the best solution is in the summer going forward. So when you have the manager not giving any indication of what his future is going to be and any sign of commitment whatsoever, you do have to mention, 2 parts within 3,500 words, that look, this is what plan B has to be. But plan A is Conte. Plan A is absolutely Antonio Conte. And you know what? I would have said, if you asked me maybe a month or 2 ago, I probably would have said my feeling that maybe Conte wouldn't have been the Tottenham manager. If you ask me now, when you look at the scenario and the situation, I kind of think he will. I think he will. Look, straight off the bat, he has no break clause in his contract. You know, it's not like he can just suddenly decide he's going to walk away. It would take someone like, I don't know, let's say PSG, which, you know, his people have completely denied, as I said before. PSG would have to come in and give Spurs whatever they wanted for him. You know, that's the way it would have to go down. You know, there's some talk that there could be a bit of a, I don't want to use the words gentleman's agreement, but kind of there'd been chat about, you know, maybe him going if he had to. And this was way, 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 way back when he first had all the talks of signing. But ultimately, there is no break clause. So it doesn't matter. It doesn't. I'm sorry to anyone that's ever had a gentleman's agreement or thought they had. If it's not in the contract, it doesn't matter. And you don't presume it does. Yeah, as I said, it's some suggestions that there might have been a little chat about if this doesn't happen, then I can go blah, 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 blah. But again, that was way back in November. Or in the talks before he joined. There is nothing official that states that whatsoever. So, the reason that I think, and this is going to be one of these where everyone's going to now go, well, if he leaves in summer, like you said, it's like my gut feeling is that I think he'll stay. And that is because I don't think Tottenham have any choice but to back him because of what's about to happen in the Premier League. So you look at it, and you've got Liverpool and City are both manager stability. They're going to spend again. They're going to continue to improve and progress. Chelsea, once they get their sale done, they're going to have money and they're going to replace those players that they're losing because of that instability at the moment. Obviously, there's all other things going on with their sale, but the likelihood is that they'll be able to come back and start spending money. Manchester United are going to throw money at trying to fix the problems that they've got, the mess they're in for Ten Hag, to have as best a start as possible. You know, there's a lot of players going out that door, which will free up wages for them to also spend big, I'd say, as well. And there's Arsenal. I keep getting told that Arsenal are they've got a few of their wage bill as well, and they're looking to spend in the summer. So Tottenham can't afford to sit still. They can't. They cannot, because if they do, that gap between a top 4 or 5 teams is going to be huge. This is this seminal crossroads of a summer. We've spoken about it before, but the way the league is shaped up has actually created even more of a scenario where Conte, I think, has to get what he wants. And I don't think, to be fair, I don't think Conte is asking for hundreds upon hundreds of millions to be spent. He's asking for the right signings, the wise signings, the ready-made signings. And I think that's the way Spurs will go this summer. I think there will be a couple of signings, of course, that will fit the ethos of ready for now, but also big for the future. Romero, Bentancur, Kulusevski, all brilliant examples of that. Players who are in the younger category, but they are superb players right now. But I think also you will see Conte say, well, a bit like Andy and Lou, isn't it, from a little bit, I want that one. That's kind of what Conte will be. He will say, I want this player, and I think Spurs and Paratici will do their best to get that player. And I think very much so, that has to be the case. Trust the man. I understand that he had, quite a big hand in wanting Kulusevski and Bentancur, and they were the two that made a difference. Whereas a lot of those summer signings, barring probably Romero, haven't really worked out exactly for different circumstances. But yeah, honestly, trust the man.